We all know the face. It's the sharp rimless glasses, the impeccably tailored blue suit, and that arched eyebrow that can dismantle a political argument in 3 seconds flat. Stephen Colbert is a nightly fixture in our living rooms, a beacon of satire who helps us laugh when the world feels a little too heavy. But let's be honest for a second, nobody runs on pure satire alone. When the cameras cut and the studio lights dim at the Ed Sullivan Theater, Stephen isn't just a host, he's a husband, a father, a Sunday school teacher, and a massive nerd. To maintain that level of energy and sharp wit night after night, he relies on a specific set of essentials. And no, we aren't talking about hair gel or caffeine, though I'm sure those help. We're talking about the soul essentials, the unexpected anchors that keep him grounded, joyful, and resilient. If you're looking for a shopping list, this might surprise you. But if you're looking for the secret sauce to a life well lived, you're in exactly the right place. Here are Stephen Colbert's unexpected daily essentials beyond the obvious. 1. The Middle-earth escape hatch. You can't talk about Colbert without talking about J.R.R. Tolkien. But this isn't just about being a fanboy who can recite elvish poetry, although, impressively, he can. For Stephen, the works of Tolkien are a daily emotional essential. Why? Because the world of news is cynical. It's fast, aggressive, and often disheartening. Tolkien is the antidote. Stephen has spoken openly about how he reads a little bit of Tolkien almost every day or keeps the lore fresh in his mind. It's not just escapism, it's a moral compass. It's a reminder that even the smallest person can change the course of the future, and that there is light and high beauty forever beyond the reach of the shadow. The takeaway for us: we all need a Middle-earth. We need a daily touchstone, whether it's a book, a poem, or a piece of music, that reminds us that goodness exists, even when the Twitter timeline says otherwise. 2. Radical gratitude, even for the hard stuff. This is where things get emotional, so stay with me. One of Stephen's most profound essentials is a philosophy he carries with him every single day: the choice to be grateful for everything. We know Stephen faced unimaginable tragedy as a child, losing his father and 2 brothers in a plane crash. It's the kind of trauma that breaks people. But Stephen treats his grief not as a burden to be hidden, but as an essential part of his humanity. In a now-famous interview, he said, "I love the thing that I most wish had not happened." That is a heavy, beautiful, and radical statement. It's the daily practice of accepting his entire life story, the joy and the pain, to fuel his empathy. It's why his comedy never feels cruel. It comes from a place of deep understanding. His essential isn't just happiness, it's wholeness. 3. The Evie check-in. If you watch the show, you know Evelyn Evie McGee Colbert. She's not just his wife, she is his daily reality check and his favorite audience member. Stephen has mentioned countless times that his favorite sound in the world is her laugh. Before he goes out to face millions of viewers, the most essential interaction of his day is connecting with her. During the pandemic, when he broadcasted from home, we got to see this dynamic firsthand. She was his camera woman, his makeup artist, and his heckler. Why it matters. In a celebrity culture filled with temporary flings and drama, Stephen treats his marriage as a daily discipline of love and humor. He doesn't just have a wife, he actively engages with her. She grounds him. She tells him when a joke lands, and more importantly, when he's being ridiculous. For Stephen, success means nothing if he can't share the punchline with Evie. 4. The yes and mindset. We often think of yes and as just an improv game you play in a drama class. For Stephen, it is a survival mechanism. Having cut his teeth at the Second City in Chicago, Stephen uses the philosophy of improvisation as a daily tool. When things go wrong, a guest cancels, a joke bombs, a global pandemic shuts down the studio, he doesn't panic. He says yes and yes, accept the reality of what just happened, and build something new upon it. This mindset keeps him fluid. It prevents him from getting stuck in frustration. It's an essential mental vitamin that keeps his creativity flowing. It's the difference between fighting the waves and learning to surf them. 5. A really, really good pen. Okay, let's get a little tactile for a moment. Stephen is a man of letters, quite literally. While he lives in a digital world of teleprompters and viral clips, he has a deep, abiding love for fountain pens and quality stationery. There is something intentionally slow about writing with a fountain pen. You can't rush it. You have to be deliberate. For a man whose job requires lightning-fast reactions to the 24-hour news cycle, taking a moment to write something down by hand is a form of meditation. It's a sensory experience, the scratch of the nib, the flow of the ink. It connects the brain to the page in a way a keyboard never can. Try this. If you feel overwhelmed by the speed of life, take a page out of Colbert's book. Buy a nice pen. Write a grocery list. Write a thank you note. Feel the difference. 6. Silence, the anti-TV. This might seem ironic for a talk show host, but one of Stephen's essentials is quiet reflection. A devout Catholic, Stephen takes his faith seriously, not in a preachy way, but in a contemplative way. He needs moments where he isn't talking, isn't joking, and isn't performing. Whether it's prayer or just sitting in silence, these pockets of quiet are the fuel for the noise. You cannot pour out energy for an hour of national television if your internal cup is empty. He engages with the big questions. Why are we here? What do we owe each other? So that he can handle the small, silly questions of politics. The Colbert effect on your life. So what happens when we look at this list? We don't see a celebrity writer list full of expensive champagne and demanded colors of M and Ms. We see a man who has curated a life of meaning. Stephen Colbert's essentials are about connection, Evie and family, imagination, Tolkien, resilience, gratitude and faith, adaptability, yes, and intentionality, the pens and the silence. He teaches us that being successful isn't about hardening yourself to the world. It's about keeping your heart soft enough to feel the pain, your mind sharp enough to find the joke, and your soul open enough to love the journey. The final thought, maybe we can't all host the late show. We can't all have a devastatingly good hair day every day. But we can all adopt a few of these essentials. We can find our escape, hug our loved ones a little tighter, buy a pen that makes us smile, and choose to say yes, and to whatever tomorrow brings. And honestly, that sounds like a pretty good show to be staring.